What's up everyone, welcome to new season 42 War 1. Got quite a big war today. Going in with my newly rank 3 Colossus, Old Faithful Titania, and Odin for the pre-fights. Quite a big war for me today, going up my usual path too. With Colossus, I got him fairly late in the game, and I have to say, before this war, I've never ever used him. So today was going to be a bit of an education. The plan at the start is for that Mephisto, Spider-Ham Mini, Sauron and Kingpin in the middle. And then moving up into Path 2 Section 2, Rintra, Mole Man, that Arcus. And then moving on to more boss as well. So lots for me to do. Starting off with Mephisto. We've seen it before. We've also got the roll with the punches node as well, which, as we all know, has tripped me up in the past. Because it's Titania, buff immune anyway, so I'm just going to essentially play it as stun immune. I can afford a couple of parries throughout the fight though. Main aim for the fight is to just try and keep knocking him down plenty, play it nice and calmly, nice and slow, take my time so that I can keep away from his incineration and not take too much damage from that. I can get in and out, and it's not going to bother me to take too many burns from I put on a regen boost as well, just to keep myself topped up, as I didn't really want to start losing health this early in the war. Going nice and smoothly, fairly slow, but it's nice and calm. That was far from ideal, but it's not going to cost me too much. I thought about throwing an SP2 there, but his aura kicked in just as I did, so I wanted to stay away. Bait the SP1. It's all, again, pretty happy with how it's going so far. Yeah, not much to say about it really. I'm going to try and bait another special and then use I can't remember if I used Haymaker first or an SP3. Oh, that's it, Haymaker, just to tank any damage, and then straight into an SP3 so that I'd carry on not taking damage. Push him to the corner and I can give him a good pummeling. Annoyingly, he's got his regen happening, so he kind of stayed a bit stagnant there, and I just finish him off with a special. Oh, which I didn't. Oh no, I did. There we go. Now, for the Spider-Ham fight, I did record it. I didn't include it in the video. Long story short, there was some disagreement with the officers, and I don't really want to go back into it. It's not particularly respectful. I was advised to go in with Colossus. It didn't work. I ended up timing out as I couldn't keep on top of the regen. You know, you need a specific counter for the node, which requires hill block. And that's what we went with on the second attempt. But a long 5-minute timeout fight we didn't need to see, so we'll just carry on with going to Sauron, and we know better for that going forward. Silly little glitch there. I eventually got to him. Gonna go in with Colossus. He is tactic, and therefore is just going to keep removing prowess. I've got the Odin pre-fights on as well, which I applied before Spider Pig. It's a relatively smooth fight. Just keep making sure I hit him so he doesn't build up too much prowess. It's not the end of the world if he gains power, but I realised I was going to be eating more SP1s than 2s, which just meant a lot of block damage. It wasn't too much of a concern. I think I get clipped a couple of times here, but it's, again, not the end of the world. Annoyingly there, I would have rather pushed him to an SP2, but of course the power burn kept that down. And I think my initial plan, I was lining up to go for an SP2 here. Oh, there we go. Oh, there's a point later I think I went for an SP3 without meaning to. Yeah, not too much to say about the fight. Again, this is essentially my second time ever using Colossus, so I know that his normal rotation is essentially parry heavy and then cancel the heavy into SP2, but for the sakes of getting power burn combos out and keeping it controlled, I was going for longer combos, just to keep the prowesses away. Life's not going well for me at the minute. This was actually quite an expensive war. Just, I didn't die any further, spoiler alert, but yeah, I lost a fair bit of health in most of my fights. It certainly wasn't my smoothest performance today. It's cost me a fair bit in potions and boosts alike, but you know, all for the team, and hoping for a much needed win to start us off today as well. Just coming to the close of the fight now, really. Yeah, keeping it pretty controlled. The regen is nothing really to worry about, and him getting a couple of prowesses between me, keeping them off, is also no big deal, because he's not keeping them for long enough to build any significant amount of power. I decided it was safer just trying to combo him rather than keep trying to parry. I was taking enough block damage as it was. And that's the fight closed out. Going up to Kingpin here, annoyingly having to use more potions because I had all my boosts on and obviously wasn't going to wait for them to wear off. Yeah, like I said, the war's pretty expensive. Kingpin, the game plan was to try and keep him to SP1, which is easier on this node because of the power burn, even though he does have a special 2 focus. I just had to keep in mind the root node and try not to block too much because of bubble shield. Overall it went pretty well today. Again, not a perfect fight by any means. I think I got caught a couple of times, thankfully it wasn't too costly. The only difficulty was when Kingpin sort of shelled up and I couldn't land a hit, and it was gonna get me rooted just like there. I just had to either wait it out and just try and play around it and hope my dex game was on point. There we go, just thought I'd use up my instructable boost there, because who needs that? Now I knew I had to be careful, and luckily I decided not to try and dex, as I'd just try and take the SP2 on the block, because if I missed I'd be really in trouble. Now I'm getting a bit of a beat down, but heart's pumping, just needed to make sure I hung in there. He was regenning quite a lot as well, and I'm just struggling to land a hit on him. Special intercept as well. Got me out of the route there, and I was thankful for the big crit. Got caught at the end of a special as well. It's really not going too well for me, but I'm surviving, which is the most important. There was also a little bit more disagreement amongst officers. I should maybe not add, but I've started, so I'll finish in that we had higher ranked Colossuses amongst our ranks, and perhaps should have gone in with those, but I was happy to put on a good performance today, and well, a performance, and most importantly not die. Pretty impressed with my first times using Colossus as well, so who knows, he might be a rank up for the future, but I've got my eye on others for now, certainly, especially while there are other higher rated ones available. There we go, a big SP2, all crits is what I needed to get a big chunk down. Making very, very slow progress here, and I can't really afford to get hit again. Definitely can't afford to push him to another SP2, that's for sure. We're slowly winning. Knew that was going to eat his block, and I just hoped he wasn't going to counter me, because that could have probably cost me, but I needed to get out of that route. Bringing the show to a close here finally, because it's become boring and I've run out of things to talk about. And good night, finally, Kingpin. So grateful to come back onto more familiar territory here with Rintra. Taken this fight on this node many times with Titania. Not too much to say about it. Here I can safely parry because there's no limber or roll with the punches or anything. Keep him to SP1. I thought about trying to push him to an SP2 and time my haymaker to eat it, but decided especially how things have been currently going, just to play it a bit safer and just be sensible about things. So SP1, get him to the corner, try not to hit him because he goes unstoppable. I did manage it a couple of times and thankfully didn't come a cropper there. But yeah, it's pretty simple, just keeping him to SP1. Use light ending combos. I didn't want to waste a haymaker here for if I did push him to an SP2. So yeah, just playing slow and steady. Once I get him down to a level of health I'm happy with, I was going to throw an SP3 just to push him to the corner and finish him off in my usual style. But yeah, for now, all the light ending combos add all the damage, and get my passive furies up as well. So it's going nice and smooth. Bait out this last heavy, get him to 0 bars, plan working perfectly, and then I throw the SP3. And here comes the chair. Perfect little mini game there as well for the 20% boost, which is always handy. And Moo is in the corner. I can chain a few heavies and just close the fight out. And there we go. For the Mole Man fight, I was a little bit skeptical. I knew that I had the 90% resistance from Odin, which would protect me against the shocks. But I was thinking to myself, because they're passive and I'm not going to heal, because Colossus is also a lowly rank 3, who will end, because of all the buffs and armour, etc., I'd end up with, you know, at minimum 10 stacks of shock against me each time, which I thought might wear me down. So I just wanted to be a little bit careful and hope I can clear the fight out. A race against time, really. Although the shocks did prove not to be too hazardous. Silly boy there hitting into block. Didn't cost me too much, thankfully. There we go, 10 stacks of shock straight away, which weren't too big a deal for me. I really was expecting worse. I also thought they'd stack up more. I didn't realise they seemed to max out at 10, so I was grateful for that as well. Didn't really matter which of either SP1 or 2 I would push Mole Man 2. They're both really easy to avoid. And then I can just go back in and carry on pummeling. I did parry him a couple of times, which turned out to be safe, although that's not the game plan typically, because he does shrug. But yeah, I just used it to my advantage, and otherwise just used basic 5-hit combos, throwing into SP2 to get the big crits and wear him down. It's going pretty smoothly. Annoying I did take that hit. It's going to cost me another couple of potions, but grand scheme of things, they're all blurring into one massive one at the minute. I'll be grateful to see this out. By this point also, because it was proving expensive, the big boss did also say not to worry about more on the boss island, and we'd send Overseer instead of Titania as well. So I was grateful that this is going to be my last fight. We got a Wags pre-fight on so that I can parry Arcus safely. The node has recently updated, and because of Burden of Might, it meant I was going to be continually power drained and not really have any access to specials whatsoever. So it was just going to be a parry heavy game, get a few combos here and there, and I've got an invuln to eat the SP3 for if he gets to it. I'm armor break immune and therefore not going to have any cold snap damage to worry about. So it's literally just going to be some block damage and nothing really to worry about. It was a pretty safe fight. It's just always a bit longer when you can't throw specials, but it's no big deal. I just had to be careful of his power gain. Ultimately, if he was going to get an SP3, it would only use up one of my invulnerability charges anyway, so I wasn't too worried about it. Just taking all the SP2s on the block, which is slowly wearing me down. I knew that I wasn't going to die from block damage, as I'd get him down first. Now I really needed him to not throw an SP3, because I ate a combo, because I like making life difficult for myself. But I was pretty confident that this fight was going to close out pretty safe. Grateful for the SP2 there. I very nearly risked, I know he dexed me there afterwards. Heart was in my mouth because I thought he could parry me, which is definitely not what I wanted to happen. But he didn't, and I soloed, and that's what counts. And that's the end of my war. And this is where we are currently sitting at, that one sad kill owing to my timeout, taking a bite out of the donut. Hopefully we're onto a good win here, which I'm confident / hopeful that we can see out. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you soon.